Let's just dive right into it. Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're unpacking part 5 of that incredibly useful 10-part tutorial, 30 common terms used in machine learning, using easy-to-understand examples for IT professionals. Look, if you're the one building, managing, or troubleshooting IT infrastructure, this is exactly what you need. It translates all that heavy data science jargon into plain IT reality. And for this part, we're focusing entirely on Chapter 5. No repeating the basics from earlier chapters. We're getting right into the critical, under-the-hood concepts of training and fitting a model. And just a quick note on where this is coming from, our material today is brought to us by Virtualization Options LLC. They're a Colorado-based research, education, and advisory organization, and they've put together this phenomenally practical reference guide. It's meant specifically for IT professionals, so you can actually grasp these 30 common machine learning terms through easy-to-understand non-technical examples. Today, it's all about how these systems actually adapt to the information we feed them. Which brings us to a really crucial question. You see, training a model is honestly only half the battle. How do you know if it actually worked? Because building a machine learning model isn't just about dumping thousands of rows of data into a system, spinning up some compute, and walking away to grab a coffee. I mean, we wish it were that easy, right? The real challenge, the absolute differentiator that separates a truly useful automated tool from a massive liability in a production environment, is validating its real-world competence. Does the system actually know what it's doing, or is it just faking it? Well, the source material brilliantly frames this whole dilemma as the Goldilocks problem of machine learning. You know the story, right? The entire training process is all about getting the balance just right. As an IT pro, you have to configure these systems to actively avoid two very dangerous extremes. You want to find that perfect, just right fit, where your model actually learns the underlying rules of its environment, instead of just memorizing the test answers you fed it, or, even worse, failing to learn anything at all. Okay, so let's look at the first extreme, which is called overfitting. This happens when a model basically just memorizes instead of actually generalizing. Think of it kind of like this. Your model spends so much time staring at the training data that it learns every single nuance perfectly. It captures every little outlier and anomaly and treats them like hard and fast rules. But when you finally deploy it into production and hand it brand new, unseen data, it completely falls apart. It hasn't actually learned the rules of the game. It literally just memorized the specific examples you initially showed it. To put this into everyday IT terms, imagine a technician who memorized the exact step-by-step sequence to fix one specific laptop model, but they absolutely cannot troubleshoot any other device. That technician is what we'd call overfit to one specific scenario. If you hand them a slightly different brand or, a new operating system, they just freeze up because the exact variables changed. An overfit machine learning model does exactly the same thing. It gets an A+ in the sterile lab environment, but out in the wild, it utterly fails. So how do we catch this before it ruins a live deployment? Well, you've got to look at your evaluation metrics and keep an eye out for a massive gap. You're looking for a very high training accuracy positioned right next to a much lower test accuracy. If your model is hitting, say, 99% accuracy on the specific dataset it trained on, but suddenly drops to 60% when you evaluate it with new data, yeah, you have a glaring red warning light. That massive performance gap tells you definitively that your model just memorized the data rather than actually learning anything useful. Now, on the flip side of that Goldilocks spectrum, we run into our second extreme, underfitting. This is when a model is literally just too simple to be useful. If overfitting is overthinking things to the point of pure memorization, underfitting is barely trying at all. The model just completely fails to capture any meaningful patterns in your data. It's kind of like assigning a highly complex network routing optimization task to a simple script that only knows how to ping a single IP address. The logic simply isn't equipped to handle the complexity of the problem you're giving it. Okay, so we know the two big traps of training now. But how do we navigate safely between them and actually prove our model is ready for prime time? Well, that brings us to our third essential term for this chapter, cross-validation. This is a super effective technique for evaluating a model's performance by splitting your available data into multiple subsets, training on some and testing on others. It is absolutely the ultimate diagnostic tool to figure out exactly where your model sits on that Goldilocks spectrum. I actually really love the framework the source uses to explain this to infrastructure teams. They say cross-validation is basically like running a disaster recovery drill across multiple data centers. You rotate through all of them to make sure your plan works everywhere. I mean, you would never just test your DR plan on one single server rack on a random Tuesday and call it a day, right? You might have just gotten a lucky, easy scenario. Cross-validation makes sure your model works robustly across different slices of reality, not just one lucky split of your training data. So let's break down exactly how this operates in practice. A really standard method is called k-fold cross-validation. Here's how it works. Step 1, you take your entire dataset and intentionally split it into several smaller subsets, which are often called folds. Step 2, you train your model on some of those subsets. Step 3, you immediately test it on the remaining subsets that you held back. And here's the real magic in step 4. You rotate. You repeat this entire process over and over, rotating through all combinations so that every single piece of data gets to be part of the testing group at least once. This kind of rigorous rotation, that's what gives you absolute confidence before deployment. As we wrap up this explainer on Chapter 5, I want to leave you with a final thought to chew on. When you're looking at your own systems, ask yourself, is your model actually learning or is it just memorizing? Because getting that balance right, avoiding those twin traps of the Goldilocks problem through rigorous cross-validation is exactly what pushes a system from being just an interesting lab experiment to being fully production ready. Think about the automated tools you're managing right now. How do they actually learn? Ponder that, and I'll catch you in the next explainer.